7:05, we'll call the order for our meeting for August the 25th, 2014. Public participation.
You know, 85 Annandale Street. Don't want to break my run here. I have a question, Chairman, for actually probably for Mr. Hull. And the question.
Board of Ed has meetings.
Yeah. Since he's here, saves me the chance of going there to ask him.
Only if he wishes to respond.
Well, of course, I think what it is, it's a procedural issue, because I understand that the Board of Education is a separate entity that has the ability to submit its own budget, which now the Board of Finance and the Board of Selectmen have to deal with. So I was wondering if I can get a summary of that process, and how that works, and how the Selectmen and the Board of Finance are supposed to figure this out. The budget, the submission of the budget, meaning that the Board of Finance can't do anything to the Board of Education, so how does that fit into
But
things?
it can't. The budget, as I understand it, Stephen.
Go ahead.
It's my understanding that the Board of Education, by statute, files a budget, right? They file it for whatever they want about it. I know we've had conversations about, as an example, magnet schools paying the transportation, whether it's done by the town, city, whatever, and whether it's done by the parents, as an example. Pittance, I mean, we're talking serious money as to the school, but that's fine. But the budget, beginning the redoing of the school, teachers, equipment, what have you, is all the decision of the Board of Education. They come up with a number, whatever that number is. The number is this year, I don't know what it is, but it's $1 million. More than that.
More like 17.
17.
16 and change.
It's kind of almost the same thing as Thompson's. And it's whatever it is, $1 million. We're required under statute to either approve it, disapprove it, or cut it. But it can't be less than what it was in 2014.
That's the NBR.
That determines what it is.
So essentially, there is an incentive to keep the budget at the same level that it was, so,
There may be an incentive within individuals or groups in the town.
Well, how
It's
about
not
in the Board of
necessarily
Education
mean
and
that
their
the incentive
ability
is in the
what
Board of
they're going to
Education.
spend?
What?
How about, just generally, like you say, it's $1 million, it's 15 or 17. What I'm saying is if it's 17 this year, that means next year it'll never be less than 17.
That's by statute.
Yeah, by statute. So what I'm saying is there's an incentive to at least reach that ceiling. Now, if he decided, or the Board of Education, I'm sorry, Mr. Halpin, since you represent that, you're kind of the scapegoat here. But if the Board of Education decided that, hey, you know what? We don't have to spend 17, we can spend 16. Are you telling me that they
Yes.
can't submit?
I'm telling you that.
Okay.
Because there is a penalty
Mhm.
if in fact you spend, if you wanted to spend on that $1 million, if you wanted to spend $100,000 less,
Mhm.
the state of Connecticut by statute
Yeah.
can penalize you.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, there's.
Two for one.
Two for one, 2 for 1.
2 for
So.
which give me numbers, give me an example of what that means.
So if we had spent under the amount of money, that was our NBR, let's say we spent $100,000 less than we should have spent.
NBR is an
And it is minimum budget requirement.
Okay.
The state will come in
Mhm.
and say, we're gonna fine you $200,000, 2 for 1 on that. So you lose money all the way around.
So what I want to know is, who is the rocket scientist who ever proposed this, and why was
I
it
have
ever
absolutely no idea,
Okay.
but
All
if
right.
you go to the annotated general statutes,
Yes.
and you look at the annotated general statutes by the year that was put in, and I certainly couldn't tell you what year it was,
Mhm.
that annotated statute would provide for you the individuals who voted for it and who brought the bill to the House, to the Senate. I don't even know how many years ago. It had to be signed by the governor. I don't know if that was a Republican or a
Okay.
Democrat
So
or
let's
what
skip
happened.
ahead here. So, I mean, you've been around the finance board for how many years?
Not long enough.
Wow.
Let's hope that you make it at least one.
You're having,
more, you know.
Mr. Chairman, you're having that much fun.
Mayor Falzarano.
Yes.
How many years were you around the finance board?
30 years.
30 years. So can you give me a ballpark idea? I mean, has it happened before you?
I don't
did
think
it?
the state's fined any town on that 2-for-1 ever. They threaten towns, but I don't think
Okay.
they're fined.
But do you
I
know
mean, you
what-
look at it, it's kind of ridiculous.
Well, absolutely, it's totally ridiculous.
So is the state legislature.
Right,
That's-
exactly.
there you
Well,
go.
okay, so my next question is, what are you doing about it in the way,
Can't.
what do you mean you
State
can't?
law.
You're telling me that you're completely powerless to influence
I mean,
current legislators and saying, you know what, this is ridiculous because.
Without belaboring this, and
Okay,
is what we
fine,
get
fine.
into the belaboring, is,
We'll do a lot of belaboring.
is that I don't know a town like Putnam could afford to go against the statute, providing attorneys and what have you, or whatever needed to be done. The only people that could probably change that would be the legislature. And there's definitely no interest, in my opinion, to change it with the power of various teacher organizations, municipal organizations, however you want to look at it. They're not going, am I missing something there?
Yeah, Mr. Garso and I are having a stare down.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
That,
Yeah, you know, it's just another day at the office here, it's only Putnam, right?
you know, I was missing something.
Yeah, you
So-
are.
so-
I just want to see if you're paying
Yeah,
attention.
I mean,
No, I paid
but that's
attention.
basically what you can do about it. I suppose the town could pay less, you know, and just to see if we
I
get
believe,
fined.
Chairman, I believe you've answered my question sufficiently, I thank you very much. I have a clearer understanding
I
of
tell
what the
you,
situation
I
is.
tell you what you could do though.
Sure, please, I'm open to
Is that within the near future, there are two individuals running for the vacant Senate seat
Mhm.
that Senator
Yeah.
Williams is vacating. I mean, I don't know when they're going to, and one of them's on a Board of Education in,
Right, yeah, Mr. French.
I don't know where, Killing, no.
Wyndham.
Wyndham, what have you, give you an opportunity to go there and,
Oh, I've spoken to him about it, and I
Well,
will again in the future.
what have you, but that's the only way you're gonna change
Well, all right,
it.
so, good.
Thank you.
No, thank you for your answer, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay,
Joel, will we have a chance to speak with regard to the issue on the transfer of funds when it comes to that?
absolutely not.
So you want us to discuss that now?
No, we can get that. We need, I know one thing we need to do, given Mr. Geary is not here, we need to appoint a individual to represent Democrats.
We need two, right? We need two.
Well, you
Whoever
need-
wins that.
I don't know.
Connor's gonna step up to,
Who?
so,
Can I have a motion to appoint
I
Mr.
make
Duffy?
a motion to appoint Mr. Duffy as a voting member.
All in favor? Aye. The question with regards to the Republican, I've asked the question, I don't really have an answer.
Oh, so we can't.
I was told by the late Mr. Seraphin, who certainly had a strong idea on how things were supposed to be done.
So you can't do it?
I had done that some time ago, and he didn't say anything about it until after it was all said and done, in deference to me, I guess. And I said, you know, you just can't do that, especially if you're voting on money. And things along those lines. So you can only have 4 people, 4 Democrats. You gotta have minority representation. They're not here, the Democrats can vote. The majority party can vote. There's a different way of looking at it. We need to clarify, I'm sure Mr. St. Ange down the road here would be,
I think you have to maintain that 4-1 split.
I think you gotta do that. And
regardless whether Republicans advocate
Yeah.
that.
I mean, we need also from, it's not something that we can do, but, we need to figure out what the story is with minority representation. Do we either have an alternate or we don't?
Smith.
You
You wanted the job.
You're right, you did.
I don't know what the answer is to that. I haven't asked Mr. Smith or anybody else for that.
Has he been to any meetings?
No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
So, I don't have an
He came
answer
to,
for that.
came to one, but I'm not sure he was sworn in.
He wasn't sworn in.
The individual, that's happened. but-
That was before.
Yeah. The individual, Mr. Simmons, has recently appeared and was appointed, I think, by Mr. Falzarano for the zoning board of appeals, and he's made every meeting. I know it's got nothing to do with the board of finance at the moment here, but, maybe there's an answer there, because at times it can be awkward. Either you got the representation or you don't. We
Yeah,
certainly-
I know Mark's normally here, but
Yeah.
obviously his business takes him out.
Oh, I have, it's kind of it's hard being one and the only one. You lived through it. I mean, you were religious in coming to the meetings and what have you, but you can't make what isn't there either. Okay, so moving along here, folks. We come to approval of minutes of July 28th. Need a vote? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor? Thank you. Quarterly financial reports from the Board of Education.
We've submitted it.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Well,
Now, yours is, the end of June, right? June 30th?
June 30th, that's correct.
Is it complete? I mean, all the bills have been paid?
And, we're waiting on one or two as we speak, that's an,
Couple.
yeah, a couple
Okay.
more to go. We had hoped to close, at the end of July, but we had a few things that are,
how's the budget gonna come out at the end, given the end? Look, you got a couple of bills to pay, you know what they are.
it will be around $3,000.
Up or down?
Well, we have to be up
I know.
by state law.
Yeah.
So, we will come in with around, again, these are round figures, around $3,000. Remember, you allowed us to top off our tanks also, so.
Stipend somehow.
No, sir. Of course not.
Now, when you say top off your tanks, have you guys had a contract, or are you just buying on the spot?
No, we buy, in advance. We buy 100,000 gallons.
So filling up, topping off must have been good then, when you did that in the summer, right?
Yeah, well, not as good as what we booked at for this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This year's.
This year, the prices of oil have, come down quite substantially. We just went into the market and purchased, 100,000 gallons at, I believe it was at $3.12 a gallon.
How do you remember all this stuff?
I make it up and you guys don't question me.
I knew it.
Only because I did, because I just checked it
You should buy
before I
at the same
came up,
time
believe
as
it or
he
not.
buys,
I
Because
did.
he's buying futures.
Well, the company buys futures for us coming in, right? So what we do is we contact the company that we've had a long-standing relationship with, and say, what is the price if we buy 100,000 gallons going out?
Does
So at
anybody,
three-
I'm sorry. no.
312 is a pretty big figure. And we had watched it come down since, I've been watching it come down since about July 15th, where things have turned better.
Does anybody have, on the board here, have any questions for Mr. Hall?
No, I don't.
Because we're, other than bandying back and forth, I mean, if you got something you wanna ask, now's a good time to ask it,
I have two things, though, if you do.
unfortunately.
No, very quickly, one is, to begin a conversation about the 15-16 budget early for us. we would like to invite you into our process. So there are no, I think you put it as ask bid, when we came up here. We'd like to invite you into that process, have a liaison, so you can watch what we do and how we do it, and put, all our cards are on the table. We wanna be as transparent as possible. So we'll invite any member of the Board of Finance, we'll let you know, and to begin to have a conversation early, and when I say early, we start to put our budget together, believe it or not, in November, and invite you into that process, November, December, so there's no surprises coming up and the percentages and like, we didn't expect that. So, again, that's an open invitation, let us know how you want to do that, we'll be more than happy to sit with you, as we do that.
We had spoken at the last meeting, yourself and
Mark and I.
Mark, so I suppose that would fit well if you can find the time to do it.
Yeah, the end of the year is slower for me.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
Mark says-
it wouldn't be a good thing to do. I've done it a couple of times. I know Peter has done it a couple of times, and well, more than that, I think. And, you know, it's, though we're not part of it, and but I've not known anybody on those meetings that I went to that at least didn't listen to what we had to say, and didn't necessarily agree with some of them. They didn't necessarily agree with us with some of them, but everybody listened and moved along, and it was certainly not a rancorous type of discussion. It was very positive.
So, yeah, we really had to sit down with the board, we started to put those budget, numbers together very early. And then the board starts to make decisions January and February. So we'll send you a letter indicating what that would be, and invite you in, you have an open invitation to
This
us.
is probably going to be before reevaluation, you know, earlier the better.
Sure.
Because in February, the reevaluation, I just think, kind of comes out. And, you know, it's always a problem. It's gonna be a problem, you know, just like every other place.
Oh, like every other place. My second, issue is we have a request, the Board of Ed has approved 3 items to purchase from the gate receipt account. Presently,
Oh, yeah.
Presently, there's $89,000 sitting in there. We, would like to spend up to, we would have to go out on bid, so we said up to $19,000. I have the issues here for you if you'd like to take a look at them.
What is the rule with that? I don't remember. The gate receipts. There's a theory of what they're supposed to be used for.
Well, I know what we have done in the past, we've come before you, you have, okayed it, the board has okayed it, and then in the past, and then the mayor can kinda,
Well, I remember
help you
Mr.
with this, right?
Valzerano being
The
articulate
Board
about
of Ed makes a proposal from the athletic director and the high school principal, they okay it, superintendent okays it, goes for the Board of Ed, if they okay it, comes to the Board of Finance, and they'll show you the need for it, and basically the Board of Finance rubber stamps it, because the money's there, and that was the purpose of that fund.
But what was the purpose of that fund?
The money.
Yeah, but for, yeah.
it's for
Right.
capital items to support athletics, is how I,
it's
how
not
it.
paving the driveway.
It is not paved in the driveway. We'd like some guidance on that. One of the things we were thinking about doing, because the money's sitting there, is to get a trainer and be able to purchase a trainer through that account, but again, I don't wanna violate any ordinance. I'm gonna go back and take a
Trainer?
look. A trainer,
Sports trainer.
athletic trainer.
Isn't there some, I know I read something with that in it.
So we will do a little bit more background checking on that, and, you know, I'll go back and take a look and come before you later on with that, but not at this time. What I have is 3 items, one's is really a town item, is to enhance the sound system at the football field. That was something that all people could do. We need some new football wireless headsets, and what we're looking for to round off our baseball field, a removable baseball fence. So in other words, we define the field. Presently, if you hit a ball and it keeps on rolling,
Been that way a long time.
yeah, been that way a long time. So we've investigated, put some money into a portable fence that we can take down.
What do they want for portable fence?
Excuse me?
What's the value of portable fence?
How much is it?
Yeah.
About $3,500. So I have them here.
Just happened. Can't use the fence that they're putting up by the fair, can you?
Not that I know of.
That snow fence.
I can remember playing ball with stuff.
I don't think you wanna go up against the snow fence. Oh, I didn't, little. Doesn't give her.
Okay, we'll take this under advisement then. See, what? I know, but you know, we're just handing it out and just see what we're thinking about it. I think we need to look up and see exactly what the capital gate receipt account provides for, so that we're not in a conflict. And I'm not quite sure that one of these is going to, I think two of them are going to fit, I'm not quite sure one of them.
I think, well, it's for a capital item, so.
So,
Your druthers
my druthers would be,
come back next week, next meeting.
yeah,
I mean, we kinda like that, I'll be honest with you, the sound system done now, the rest, and the,
some reason why so late to kick off. I mean, was the system better last year?
no,
Nobody heard it?
no, but we had investigated a number of times, and I was waiting for a proposal to come up my way. One came my way.
How many proposals do we have?
We're gonna go out for bid on this, that's why there's more of an issue with that.
I'm always interested in what the bids look like.
That's why we said not to exceed, because we don't know what that bid will be.
Okay, so what's your pleasure on that, Bob?
Do we need a motion
Well, we need a motion, yeah.
to approve
Yeah.
all three, or just,
We can do 3, 2, wait for the bids to come in, what have you.
Which one are you thinking is not a capital, Hillside?
Well, no, trainer.
Oh, the
Oh,
trainer's not there
trainer's
yet.
not there.
Mr. Chairman, the trainer's not there yet.
Oh,
No, that
okay,
is
I
not
didn't
what-
even read it, I just went by what you said.
No.
Oh, okay,
We'll come
okay,
back to you
okay,
on
the
that.
trainer would be
Something coming back at you.
something different than this.
That's correct.
okay, I'll
But
move-
these three we would like now if we could get them.
all right. I'll move to authorize the Board of Finance, Board of Ed to go out to bid based on the gate receipt account here, the capital items, enhanced sound system not to exceed 10,000, football wireless headsets not to exceed 5,500, removable baseball fence not to exceed 3,500, and that's to come from the gate receipts.
The football headsets would meet the bid requirements, the movable fence would not, we'd still be under your policy, but it'd be under $5,000.
Okay, but do we have a number that we can't exceed or something?
Yes,
along the line?
if you say not to exceed 3,500.
Right.
Mr. Garso talked about going out to bid on all three, but all three you do not have to go out to bid on. They're over 5,000, you have to, and we would live with that policy.
All right.
Okay, so 2 out of 3, you gotta go out to bid.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Second.
All those, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, appreciate it. Any other questions for me?
No. I'm sure we can think of something pretty soon, though.
They always do when you leave.
Call me,
I got a cell phone number, call my wife.
Scott's not shy.
Okay, quarterly financial reports from the general government.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, so copies are in your packets.
who's doing this? You or Mr. Cullen?
Well, I actually sent an email around.
We're gonna do this until
Out of
September.
play. What?
I thought they were gonna do this until.
Well, but it's on right now, we gotta do something with it. I mean,
What's that?
I've suggested that these reports be due the following month.
one of the difficulties that we're apparently having, Mr. Garso, the town apparently having, is that though it's 1st of September,
Yeah.
that when you take all the things underneath the general government, all the bills on end, all the bills on paid.
They were being,
100,000,
some of them were being entered even today,
And,
so.
you know, I don't know quite what the answer is to that, because it winds up being a moving target in some ways. I know one bill with regards to, picking on that outfit, but, I mean, one bill is, I mean, one outfit's $60,000 over. And
Yeah, pretty close. I said 50, but.
close enough, close, I'll look.
I don't think, I think I mentioned in an email, there's no sense in discussing this right
Absolutely.
now.
Right.
because
We are
it's not
60
finalized.
days ahead
I
of
don't
schedule from last
disagree.
year.
I think one of the questions is at some point in time here, though, I think you need to set a hard date. It just can't be, you know, we'll talk about this next February. You
I
know,
definitely agree.
And what have you. So a hard date is not a bad thing. If in fact there are some outstanding bills at the hard date, well, someone can explain why the oil company hasn't sent you the bill, or whatever it is that's going on.
That's what I guess can somebody just explain that to me? And I'm not questioning it, I just don't understand it. Why don't people send us bills?
Oh, we get them. One of the things is, we are 60 days ahead of schedule than we were last year. Last year in October, Caroline was still entering bills into the accounts payable system,
The past fiscal year.
you know, last year. So, we are 60 days ahead of schedule. I started in May saying to people, check your desks, contact your vendors, you know what you spent, you know what you ordered, get these bills in. I said I wanted them by the end of July. Well, as it turns out, we're gonna have them by the end of August. There are a couple of departments who shall remain nameless that have had bills. Some of them go back to, April. They got in today. And I can't tell you how many times I've said, can I get you June bills, can I get you June bills, and I'm not the accounts payable person.
I mean, one of the things that, and this isn't the first time I've heard that with regards to nameless departments. I don't know that we run the Board of Finance with nameless departments as a rule of thumb. You know, either the department has a name or it doesn't have a name. It's real or imagined. I mean, if we need to
Well,
go
I
into
guess-
executive session to do some of this stuff, we can do it. But at the end of the day, it's either that person, whoever is the head of the department, Mr. Cutler, or yourself that's responsible for some of this stuff. You know, I don't know why April isn't done. I mean, it wouldn't work.
Isn't that company screaming for their money? Why
You
would
know,
some,
I got a
all I
few
can say is,
questions.
that's the way this town has always operated. I've improved it by 60 days. We do get people that scream for money all the time.
So,
You know, and I'm just here to report the figures. I don't make the rules and, you know, I try to be proactive and get people to please turn in.
Mr. Duffy,
who's the point of contact for accounts payable in the town?
Caroline,
Caroline Parent.
yes,
So all bills should be going to her.
yes.
Are they going directly to her? Are they going through each individual department, then into her hands?
They always go to each individual
Okay,
department.
well, that's the first thing we should stop.
Well, part of us, we're decentralized now. We have different people in different locations.
I understand that,
That's part
but
of the issue.
we do a ton of federal, state, and even some
Yes.
municipal government work, and I've never had sent to anyone but an accounts payable rep.
I totally agree.
And secondly, we have hard dates that
Yes.
we have to bill by,
Yep.
or we do not get paid. That's it, we don't get paid. So we need to cut out the middlemen instantly, have someone that's responsible for this, and make it simpler. I mean, it's a wonderful world of email. We haven't mailed out a bill in years. This stuff can be done at the point of contact almost, and gotten right to the accounts payable person. There has to be some.
And right now, this new fiscal year, we have the PO snag where people are coming in with invoices that do not yet have a PO. It is happening.
okay, I'm stupid. What's PO mean?
Purchase
Purchase
order.
order.
Okay. Or it could mean
so that means
protective
they're
order,
ordering
too.
again without a purchase
Or
order?
continuing to get services or whatever. It's a lot better than it was.
So it sounds like there's you know, I guess
So
I'm
who,
thinking.
can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Because I've asked this question, I don't know the answer.
Okay.
But who's in charge at the town hall?
That's what I was gonna say, there's a lack of
I mean,
management here.
Who's your boss?
This is like reality
The
show.
Board of Finance,
No,
that's what I was told.
No.
you're the mayor's the
Right.
boss of all departments.
Who's your boss?
The mayor.
Who's
And
her
board of
boss?
selectmen, the mayor.
Who, does she report to you at all?
We talk constantly.
Okay, so,
I mean, if you want to put me in charge of finances, I'll be in charge of finances, but I'm not in charge of finance.
no, I don't mean to, I was asking a serious question that I didn't know the answer to. Who's in charge of the town hall? I mean, if something goes wrong, who's in charge?
Well, we've had, it's been a process here in terms of when you go from one finance director to a new finance director, you institute a new system, you institute a purchase order system. You have caused a lot of disruptions in terms of what we're trying to do. And we have the same number of people in the finance department as we had when we weren't doing all of these things.
20 years ago.
Then you add on top of that, which gets to my other item here, which is the mayor's consideration for a new person for finance. You know, we're gonna have to do have a rating agency come here. I don't know if Sandy's ever had any experience with a rating agency coming into town. All the information has to be collected for that. We have to do that before we can get permanent financing on the school project. We're doing all these other projects. Now, you say it might be WPCA projects, but a lot of this has to still come through the
town.
The town. So, you know, it's all right for Connor to throw out these things of what his company does, but that's not the reality in terms of municipal government. You know, you just don't throw those things out and expect it to be done overnight, and without the resources that you expect to not come up with.
Okay, wait 1 second, because if you're yelling at us about the person, I believe it was you and the mayor who cut the person out of her budget, not us. That was out of your recommendation.
That was another thing.
And there's a difference between needing more people, which I thought we did when we discussed the budget, and having the subject matter expertise to do the stuff. That's what I'm getting at here.
It's both.
Don't
It's-
forget, you went from a DOS system to you went to a.
Trust me, I still
You
deal
know,
with it.
and there was only one person that really understood that system.
I
And
understand.
everything was done on Excel spreadsheets. So you, by going this other route in terms of adding the new AccuFund system, going to the purchase order system, which really wasn't rolled out very well. You know, it was probably the same type of thing that we had in terms of Obamacare. You know, you came up with a policy, that was a one-page policy. There's a lot of ins and outs of that policy that weren't even, thought of in terms of the purchase order policy. You know, there has to be a receiving document now. Nobody talked about the receiving document. Nobody talked about having to get the federal employee income tax number on all these purchase orders. You know, we had a purchase order, we had a system in place, accounts payable system in place, where we have all these vendors. You know, you can download that system probably into the AccuFund, but you're still missing a lot of data there.
We did.
So,
and we
you
will.
know,
What you're
and
talking
you
about,
all
though,
did, you
is
did this
not having
basically in
somebody
terms
who
of,
knows how to do
you did this in
modern
terms
business
of,
process.
excuse me?
So what you're talking about is not having someone with the experience, because you're talking about federal ID numbers. You know, maybe our mistake and my mistake was thinking that this is how most of the normal world works. So,
Except for municipal.
I understand that. I understand this is a whole different ballgame. But that doesn't mean it's the wrong way.
No, I agree with you.
So,
It should go to, your point.
The fact of the
Should
matter
go
is,
to accounts receivable.
and I don't mean to sound overly harsh here, but if we're talking about non-elected people, if they don't know how to do it, let's get somebody who knows how to do it. Because it's not that hard to find. If we're talking something from a business process standpoint, as simplistic as a PO process. I don't want that to
You know,
sound.
when the idea, as I understand this, when we talked about this PO stuff, I don't remember that other part of it and the intricacies as Mr. Cutler's talking about. You know, you gotta get the federal ID number, you gotta get this, you gotta get that. you gotta
But
get
that's
that.
a common thing.
Okay, well, but the assumption is that we would know this by osmosis. I haven't had much osmosis about too much, and when I put my head on a pillow, it doesn't come. You know, so that's pretty much the end of that. I don't know what needs to be done. I know, I understood, I thought I understood, obviously I didn't. Paula, with regards to the stuff that she was doing on DOS and what have you, and it was more pen and ink, as I understand it. And, you know, and it worked okay. Now, whether it was a good idea or a bad idea or whatever it is, it doesn't do any good to go back and talk about it. It's done, and that's what it is. But now we're doing this with the same, you know, which comes back to what we're talking about, which is where I started to get there in the beginning. But we've got the same number of people, but the work now is more complicated.
No, it's not. That's a misconception.
No, it's all,
It's different.
and it's confusing. You know, when Sandy first came here with the new software presentation, I was going through the same thing at my office, getting a whole new software thing. I was delighted because she explained things to me and it really helped me to get my, but
you.
for that first, the cloud and all that stuff. But, it takes you a year, at least a year, on a new software system and a whole new.
Can we separate out the
Yes.
software though from something like a PO process?
No, you
Can I-
can't in this situation. This is the
goes-
first, it's both.
It goes hand in hand, okay?
In this instance, it's going hand in hand. They
But-
never had a PO system before. They're putting it on a brand new software.
You can do a PO system like this without any software.
It doesn't, but they aren't doing it without any. They're doing it with this. And it takes people, and it does. I mean, every single, you know, I have 100 vendors. It takes a long time to sit there and put them in, and put their address in, and put
But
your
isn't she
account
doing
number
that?
in. Well,
Go.
Go.
Okay, we ran, a list of everybody that we bought in the prior year that was imported into AccuFund. In Caroline's defense, she was never told that she should get tax ID numbers, because, you know, that's just not what they did. People are coming forth, new vendors, I know you need tax numbers, you have to 1099 people, over $600 income and so forth and so on. So, and again, in Caroline's defense, she knows how to now put in a tax ID number, she knows where it goes. Caroline has a good grip on how to receive against purchase orders at this point, and she can even do purchase orders. Eileen does purchase orders, Eileen can receive against purchase orders. The workload itself has increased. Now, prior to the actual POs being actually used in this system, please bear in mind that we brought between $400,000 and $500,000 of several accounts onto the town books that were never on the town books before. And I'm speaking of the Putnam Redevelopment Agency. They have several loans, they have leases, there's about 15 bank accounts associated with their accounts alone. They don't necessarily have an accounting finance person in their department, and they rely on me heavily to fix, straighten out, guide, lead, instruct, and so forth and so on. So we have that. In addition to that, we have the 10 lift station upgrades plus the 11th one to be built. The tech park, we have a gravel fund now. We have the Saturday Farmers Market, which has a debit card machine and it has a snap machine, and we're up to like fund number 191 now because everybody and their brother gets grants and there's projects, and now there's the new school and you know, the well fields and the water line replacement. I can go on and on and on.
Sandy,
Where you going with this?
So,
where are
workload.
you going from here so you can tell the committee of where we're going to be up to date as we go forward? Because that's what they're all looking for here.
As
right
we
now.
go forward,
That's what we're looking for.
we need
Provided you
to
get,
add
this half a body, or how,
Okay.
whatever it is.
You know, for example, too, I mean, Eileen's been here for a long time. She doesn't have a good grasp of accounting and finance. She just doesn't. She's perfectly capable of performing certain things as long as you can, more like a clerk. You know, you hand her something to do and then she can put it in. Because that's how she's always, you know, she just worked off a piece of paper. With all the, you know, and again, with the bonds coming up, we need an additional staff person that has a financial understanding and accounting background that can, you know, help and jump in and assist with the whole workload that we all have. The POs have increased the workload on, whether it's myself, Eileen, and or Caroline. And there's only so many hours in a day.
But you supported the POs, right?
No one came to me when they decided they wanted to institute the purchase orders, and I think the purchase orders are a great idea. And one of the things I suggested is that maybe they even wait a year until we did get some additional staff. But the thing with the purchase orders is, I think it's going to help, I know it's in the minutes or in the tapes. It will help people adhere more to their budgets, because right now, with institution of purchase orders, it will encumber the funds out of their budget. And, you know, this is another little, it's a wrinkle. Certain people have thought, if they have something in their budget, I'm gonna pick on office supplies, and maybe they have $500. You can't go and create a purchase order for $400 for Staples and $300 for W.B. Mason. That's not 500, it's over. And the system will kick back a message, and it
But
won't let
isn't
you
that a
pay.
blanket order? That's probably.
But
one
yes,
example.
but if you have 2 blanket orders and they total 700 and you only have 500,
Right.
and,
Take it out.
you know,
We'll take it out.
and again,
So-
it's
so-
a wrinkle in a learning curve.
So in essence, where will you be in another, how long is it gonna take you to get up to date to where we can be confident we know where we are? Because as it stands now, we're hearing a lot of information which you're submitting, but no end in sight of where we wanna be at any particular point in time. And that's what we're looking for.
You know, it depends on the person I get, you know, without getting into a lot of specifics here, and having people that have been in the system that don't unfortunately know what they're doing, I've had to fix.
I understand that. I understand that.
I don't
Where
think she
will-
can give you a date.
I can't, you know,
She
No,
can't
she
give
doesn't
you-
wanna commit.
You know, the fact of the matter is, and I think I misunderstood something here, because in the beginning, I thought we were talking about department heads slowing, when you said there were no numbers.
Yes, there are.
Is that department heads not doing that, or the POs are not in the system yet, or the numbers?
I believe Eileen right now has caught up with everything that she's been given.
Because it's a big difference between those who are controlling the finances in the town, not having the manpower to do it, and the department heads fighting against the new process.
They're not fighting against it really. I mean, some of them, it's still a learning curve for them to a degree. Unfortunately, you know, this PO system came about kind of abruptly, and especially for everybody. And we were gonna have a town or a staff meeting and talk to the department heads, but it got canceled, and that was like in June, I wanna say. And so communication wasn't good. I didn't have any input into the purchase order process. Nobody came to talk to me to find out, oh, you have to do receiving and, you know, all the various things that go along with it. So, it was sprung on us. It was decided through discussions and meetings that we should go for July 1st or else wait a year. So,
All right, I think I misunderstood.
Are we just talking, or were we supposed to be doing something?
Well,
We kinda drifted.
don't you agree, at some point in
We kinda
time,
drifted.
we have to have an overall plan? We should be looking,
Absolutely.
we should be working on a plan now. We're here, we're gonna be here in a month, we're gonna be here in 2 months, we're gonna be here in 3 months. Unless you have a plan of that type.
well, the only kind of guidance I guess I could give you that way is, if I do get somebody, I would hope to have them start by October 1st. One of the first things that I plan to do is that they are going to learn payroll and how to do it, and also document it. And every process that is done in this office, when I walked in here, I had no direction whatsoever. I've had to figure this whole thing out virtually by myself. And so, I mean, if something happens to me, if something happens to Caroline, somebody should be able to go and pick up a book and do the process. There should
All
be some
I'm
instructions.
trying to suggest now is that we have some kind of a timeline. work on a timeline, provided that we can get this half a body, whatever it is, and what the task will be of that new person.
Their
And then
task-
accordingly,
Mhm.
what would be the timeline of getting back to neutral? You see, if we don't have a timeline, then we're not gonna be anywhere.
Well, I mean, well, I appreciate, I appreciate all that, but I don't know what we're gonna do with that this evening.
Well,
I mean,
I got some questions.
sure.
You said something about learn the payroll. Who does the payroll now?
Caroline.
But what are we gonna do with Caroline if somebody else learns the payroll?
Oh, you should never have just one person that knows how to do one thing, especially like payroll. I'll go back to Nichols College. At Nichols College, there was the person that does payroll, and they still continue to do it. But you need somebody as a backup, and you should actually have 3 people that know how to do that process.
Okay,
That's
sec-
fine, but after the first 6 months, what is the person gonna, what?
Oh my God, there is so much to do.
Well, you said payroll, so
Well,
now
he's
either
asking
say
me for
something else.
what are they gonna do? I would have them first learn payroll. They're gonna document how to do payroll. They can take over all the redevelopment accounts. They can take over the receipts account. They can take over the accounts payable account. And instead of me just doing data entry all day long, and it gives me ability to, again, there's 191 funds. I mean, there's plenty to do. The farmer's market right now is really keeping us hopping, because every week, there's an impress box of cash that needs to be reconciled, and I didn't even get into the honey fund and all that other stuff. There is so much work to do.
Did she say honey fund?
Honey fund, yes, we have a honey fund.
Yes.
When, is Eileen gonna retire next year?
I don't know. I would say probably not.
You know, I mean, at
Are
the,
these union positions?
Yes.
No, but
Some of them.
Eileen,
No, she's not
She's
yet.
not.
she's not, but,
Carolyn's not, and Denise is not.
you know, I mean, at the moment here,
Guess we should start
without going down the road, it was other things to talk about tonight, that, you know, I think that someone from this finance board, maybe with Peter, or somebody else for that matter, needs to sit down with the finance director and come up with something of an answer about where it's going and how it's gonna go. Because I come in here occasionally, can't say I can, you know, more now, my leg's okay. And I was in here the other day, you know, and listened to, and, you know, when we did the budget, I mean, that was god awful, that budget. And, you know, we had numbers all, I mean, you know, and.
well, we'll have it this year.
Anyway, but we were making, that stuff was being made up in the afternoon, going and changed in the morning. I mean, so I don't, it certainly doesn't make you feel warm and cuddly as far as, but that's how it's being done. We can say that's BS and you shouldn't do it that way and it needs to be done. Well, okay, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm not an accountant. And I really don't have a lot of experience accounting stuff. I mean, but maybe people who do need to sit down with the finance director and with Doug or with somebody. Somebody's in charge of these people. Somebody. I mean, that's somehow or other I sit here and I listen to, who are these people? Did they just appear from nowhere?
Who
Yeah,
reports to you?
They've been
Who
here
reports?
forever.
Does anybody report to anybody?
Oh, who reports to the mayor?
Doug,
Oh, department heads.
department heads.
And the department head.
Yeah, and Doug shouldn't be doing the day-to-day finance work.
Well, okay, but someone's gotta do it.
Well, I am an accountant, and if I would volunteer to do whatever you would like me to do, if you tell me what to do.
I would, you know, I am confused.
Yeah, me too,
You know,
believe
you
me,
know,
this
and, I
isn't
mean, we
normal
sat
with
here
you.
not that many months ago, and we spent lots of money buying software. And somehow or other, I was given the impression, rightly or wrongly, that somehow or other Nirvana was at the end of that road. And that the software was going to bring everything up to date and to do this and to do that. Well, it doesn't seem to have happened. May have happened in some areas, but it hasn't seemed to have happened. So either we bought software for nothing,
No.
Oh, no.
and I understand your
I
answer.
guess I
understand
overestimated
the answer you're
abilities
going
of
to
mine.
come, because we've had this conversation.
We just went very generational.
You know, and we've
That's
gone
the problem.
from, you know, horse and buggy to V12s. And, you know, I don't know what the answer is to that, but we sit here, and we don't seem to have an answer for much. I mean, you know, talk about direction from the Board of Finance. Board of Finance is in no position without information to provide any thought on how the worm is supposed to turn. I have no idea how to do that. I mean, I don't know these names of people other than the people in this room. I don't know who these people are. I don't know who the heads of department are. I don't know who's reporting. I mean, we talk about unnamed, unknown sources. Sounds like the FBI. You know, we don't know who they are. They got to be somebody.
Well, you know who the habitual
Well,
people
yeah,
are,
but you know, but we may know who they are.
Well,
But we don't have any control over them.
I don't either. I really thought when I came on board here that there were people that either had degrees or had some sense of financial
Well, you should have looked hard.
structure. Yeah, I should have. I should have just went.
The other thing is, Joe, and the reason I said we went generational is software or hardware, any technology in and of itself is not going to solve the problem. It's the person using it
Mhm.
that's going to solve the problem.
Mhm.
And with the knowledge, the ability, the subject matter expertise, that's how you get to nirvana, is someone qualified in accounting or finance using the system that lets them do a whole lot more than we normally do more easily. But you gotta have that understanding. And God bless them, you know, there's a big difference between an accountant and somebody that's just learned to do
Enter
payroll
data.
or enter data over the past 30 years. And the
It-
fact of the matter is, unfortunately, we're getting to a point now, it's called the box. It's an old euphemism in technology where when you put yourself in the box and you stay there, technology keeps making the box get bigger. And the fact is if you don't start moving to the outside, it's gonna take you a hell of a lot longer to get out of the box.
Or you
And-
can't get out.
Or you can't get out.
And I will
Yeah.
say, you know, we have Lucille who does everything for the Special Services District. She does payroll, she does accounts payable, she does receivables.
She just sent my wife a W-9
She
for a
is-
federal ID number. for Christ's sake.
Not to state ages or whatever, but she is 70+ years old and she is sharp as a tack and she understands accounting.
Yeah.
I can't say that for
Well, you
others.
don't forget it.
No, but if you never
I'm
had it.
sorry.
But, I mean, all I could say at the moment here, you know, make a motion to someone to perhaps have a committee with regards to capital, yourself and somebody else to meet with whoever the powers to be with regards to Savoy, Mr. Cutler, what have you, to talk about what needs to be done. Tony?
I think a simpler solution would be, or should have been, Sandy right now is probably the only person
Yeah.
that can really understand Occupy. She has never sat down with Denise, Caroline, Eileen, Lucille, for 2 or 3 hours for a week to explain Occupy.
Did you say I never have?
No, I said, yeah.
You're wrong. The only person I have not explained it to in super great depth is Denise.
Who uses a computer every day is probably the second best in Boston.
And it's not gonna help, Tony. It's not gonna help
I
because.
can't tell you how many
Because with
hours.
the subject matter based software, I mean, if we're talking about something that you're teaching from scratch, that's fine. You still gotta know accounting. So
Yeah.
learning how to get around the software, you can teach somebody that. But if they don't know the basis of the software and the principle and the principles behind it, it's not gonna help.
For
I'm like
example,
Joe,
you know.
I have no clue.
Yeah, well, the software the software is just data entry.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. You gotta know where, when,
You
what.
need to, and if they
Journal
don't have the
entries are wrong.
understanding
You know-
of accounting and different, you know.
You know, again, I don't want to belabor this.
No, but I'm just gonna give you a classic example.
Well, I
All right, you
don't,
have a cash account, and if it gains interest, the balance should go up. Eileen looks at what she entered, and the balance went down. Hello, wouldn't you, and she knows, and she admitted, oh yeah, I saw it went down. But do you do anything about that? No, for a whole year. And that's just
I
one
mean, I
account.
don't know that the Board of Finance sitting here this evening is able to deal with this. I mean,
Well, I
mean-
know we're not, but I mean, we can't sit around and
So-
sugarcoat the thing. Let me finish,
Okay.
okay? We can't sit around and sugarcoat it. We've got people that don't have technical knowledge, okay, to operate within these systems. They've been around here for a long, long time. It may be time for some of these people to move on. Now, I'll say it, I want it on the record, because I know the record gets around this town hall like you wouldn't believe. But the fact is, if they can't handle it, if they can't do it, then we need to do something.
I don't disagree with you at all, Bob, but we're not people that,
I'm just making a suggestion.
I mean, that's the people
You know,
who are in charge of people.
You know,
We're not in charge of people.
A comment was made that we can't do anything, okay? Like, for instance, we got a $50,000 overage for recreation, a sacred cow, you gotta be careful.
You
okay?
mentioned that to me.
Okay, but if we can't do anything, oh, yes, we can, in the spring. If they don't come up with any cost reductions, we can cut them. And they can go cry all they want. Yes, we do have that power. Okay, we can do it.
I don't disagree with, I don't disagree, but at the moment here,
Not, right now, we can't do it.
at the moment, I don't have, but I wish I did, the answer for it, because every time I listen to this, and I think,
Yep.
you're articulating it better than I am, I mean, the story changes. I mean, what isn't done, this isn't done, they don't understand, we don't understand, I don't have an answer for that. The Board of Finance is not, we deal with the numbers and what have you. We're not dealing with how to set systems up. We're not. I mean, who to fire, who to hire, who to go. I mean, we don't approve positions. We don't approve personnel evaluations. We don't do that. I have no idea if anybody, I don't know who's doing it, not doing it, but I know one thing, we're not doing it. I mean, this individual that she met, who I don't know who she is. I mean, I don't know why or how come after 30 years, and I guess it's what you're talking about,
It's technology.
It is, it's because,
is an issue and nobody noticed it till yesterday?
oh, no, it's been brought up many
No,
times.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
No, it's
Here's numbers for you, Joe. The fact is that if you take out some of these people that have just learned what they need to do on their daily basis, get people that have the subject matter, removing the salaries of those, you're gonna be able to hire someone that is gonna have plenty of subject matter expertise.
Right.
And
Well-
you might find that 2 people can then do the
You know,
job for
but
5.
again, we're
but
going
he's
to-
But you hear what he said about 2 people doing the job
Yeah,
before?
yeah.
She's got an assistant now, right?
Well,
I do.
Yeah, technically,
All right,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
She's got an assistant, all right? Now hypothetically, if you hired somebody to replace her that was an accountant, see
But
that?
we can't touch her.
I know.
so.
That's not my problem.
So when we come down to this, if we get to it tonight, if we get down on some of this stuff, I mean, it's the feeling of the mayor, it's the feeling of Mr. Cutler, and it's the feeling of Ms. Savoy, that they hire somebody to replace that individual that has this level of expertise or this level of knowledge to handle the things that Ms. Savoy is talking about. Now, I know one thing, if you eliminate one of those people that are working here now, you're paying how many weeks? 24, 30 weeks unemployment. So whatever you're paying for that goes on top of the salary that you're paying for this person. So somebody leaving under those conditions can get to be expensive.
Well, not if you carry it over a couple more years. I mean, if
Well-
you take that person out of there, I mean, if you put 2 people in there, okay, and you combine those salaries and it keeps going on and on and on, yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
But you're better off to bite the bullet and say,
There are alternatives to unemployment.
there are alternatives to unemployment. God, it's like, you brought up a good point at the beginning.
I still say after it's all said and done,
Yeah.
we need a plan to move forward. We have to have a plan to say, okay, we're gonna have these concentrations, and this is gonna be done within the next month. And then the following month, these are our plans. Unless you have an objective, then we're just running around with our heads cut off. And the other part of it would be is to concentrate on the items that are most important. Now, I know you're doing, I know you're doing like a lot of these checkbooks and all this other stuff and whatnot. But all I'm trying to say, if our problem is in the PO sector,
Oh, it's
or if it's
not.
in purchase, or if it's in accounts payable, or
That's not the
accounts
problem.
receivable, those are the three most important areas that I see right now. The other part is that Tony related to. Everybody's gotta get trained.
They
Did-
have been. They have been trained and trained and trained and trained and
The
trained
training
again.
will not help.
I've written, I've taken screenshots, I've done notes, I even ended up doing video training.
Okay.
I have spent so many hours.
So knowing what you know now,
Mhm.
wouldn't it make sense is to have some kind of a plan, an objective, going forward for the next 3 months on what our accomplishments are attempting to be?
What?
That's what we should work for.
Well, at this point, I did
Yeah.
a split up, I gave Eileen like
You
1/3
wanna
of
see-
the
you
easy.
wanna
I mean,
Sure.
folks, I mean, I appreciate, I mean, maybe you two folks should have a conversation with one another, not on tape. But, I mean, but the reality is at the moment here, what are we gonna do today? I know it's gonna go right back down to you hire somebody or you don't. You know, and that's going to come up a little later. Are we going to form a committee with Kathleen and somebody else? Probably, you know, you'd be a good one to do it, and I don't mean to throw all these things, I mean, you always are.
That'd be you.
Mr. Duffy, and have a conversation with whoever it is you gotta have a conversation with as to where it's going to go and come back next month. Not with the whole thing worked out, but at least a bite of it. And then the following month, maybe another bite of it, or something along those lines, rather than, you know, do it all and what have you. I mean, because having a meeting like this is nice, I guess, but the reality is, I mean, we're not getting anywhere.
What do you think,
I just have a question about the authority of picking a committee or committee members from the Board of Finance to do anything that deals
Subcommittee.
with. I get that, but it's still personnel issues. If I'm.
No,
if
we're not
I'm-
talking about
but
personnel,
If
though.
I'm understanding what you're saying, right? In other words, to help these people that are
No,
not understanding what's
no,
going
I
on.
mean, we need, you know, you can't divorce yourself from doing that from that, to some degree, you just can't help it. If someone can't do something, and that's the person everything's going to, I
Right.
mean, that's a problem. But either identify the problem, or forget it.
It's more than that.
I don't have an answer for that. But, you know, it's one thing to listen here at the moment to talk about, I mean, Ms. Savoy didn't do this, and she isn't doing that, and what have you. Maybe that's all true, I don't know.
It's more of an informational.
I will say this.
I mean, you know, and unfortunately, what these meetings are turning out to be is, you know, kind of, you know, how come she isn't doing this, and how come she isn't doing that? I mean, we're not, the Board of Finance, you know, we can say if we're her boss, if you want to say it that way, and Mr. Cutler would suggest that we're the one directing it, then who in this board is going to direct her?
No, she's not directed to the board, she's directed to the mayor.
Okay, but I don't know, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know what do, not do.
I will just say this, being that I am essentially one person, and I am working on last year's stuff because we need to get ready for the audit. It's gonna be months.
I mean, I don't have, I mean, it may be months, it may be years, it may be decades, I
We
don't
know.
know. And then nobody on this board and in this room knows the answer to that. So, we're just guessing. And we're making noise to sound like, you know, I don't know how long it's going to take.
Well, to come off of what Peter's saying is maybe you can't be, for right now, you can't be hard on whether it's department heads or anybody else. Because a lot was thrown at department heads too in terms of this whole process. So we instituted the AccuFund, we instituted the purchase order. It's gonna take some time
Yes.
to play out. So first of all, I think one thing is, you know, let's not
Run with it.
come to any, a guilty decision yet until, you know, we have a little bit more time in terms of getting through these issues. You know, a plan I think is good, but again, you know, you add that onto, what our daily duties are, and, you know, that's the whole problem is, you just don't have the time to do the planning that's necessary to, because you're so swamped with your daily, in and, you know, day in and
You
day
know,
out.
even within this, you know, we talk about Ms. Savoy. And whatever it, you know, whatever it is she did that, whatever she's doing. If in fact we took you, God forbid that something happened to you and you're going to be out 3 months. I don't know who could figure out what you're doing. I have no idea. And I don't know if there's anybody that is. I mean, you rattled stuff off, just like the superintendent is. And I'm always amazed listening to people rattle stuff off that are really, really in the know. But there's nobody after you that can, you know, get it done, but, you know, can rattle it off as well, as glibly, as whatever it is that you're doing, and whatever it is, the bridge, when it's going to be, and whether the spotted something or other, or something along those lines is going to be taken care of. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Spotted salamanders taken care of. I know 5 Mile River Road, that's a serious issue. And what have you.
I already volunteered to bring them up to 5 Mile River Road.
But, you know, I
You
mean,
missed the heart.
but, you know, we're only talking about a $5 million budget. You know, we're not a massive company. The limited number of people, you know, the building officials, you know, down there, and there's a couple of 4 folks, and Fred, and what's his, I can't think of his name, you know what I mean. Mean down there, you get into some of the other offices, and there's 2 or 3 people there. You know, highway is, but, you know, that's what they do. You know, they're not, and they get salary for it. And Jerry runs it, Joey, you know, is second, and you got all the other stuff. I mean, we're not in charge of that stuff. I mean, it all goes basically to Miss Savoy. I mean, all that stuff goes there. I mean, it's the linchpin to make this place work. And we talk about, well, you know, maybe we don't need anybody and we can't do this. Well, okay, and, you know, tomorrow she says, I'm out of here. I mean, you know, how does all this work? I don't know. I mean, you know, or you say the same thing. You know, I know you talk about retiring from here, but, you know, it is. I mean, it's stuff along those lines. It's difficult to do this stuff.
Well, the thing is, we've been very, very aggressive, and, you know, to the credit of everybody, you know, we've gone out and taken advantage of as many grant programs and, you know, capital improvement projects as we possibly can. You know, whether it's a $36 million school, or it's $18 million wastewater treatment plant, or a $15 million, you know, water line replacement. You know, you're right, it's only a $5 million budget, but when you add all those other programs in, you got some major administration and management of those
reporting
things.
and
So.
financial.
So,
tracking.
I mean, in trying to just get out of here this evening, and for some reason, let's assume the finance director has said what you needed to say.
Yes, it's not,
Thank you.
please give me help.
Thank you. Other than that, moving on, we have the well pipe relining restoration project update.
The water relining and replacement project is still being reviewed by the USDA. As soon as we get the sign off by the USDA, we'll put that project out to bid. The other project that's out to bid, and we're going to open bids on September 23rd, is the, Sandy mentioned, is the 10 sewer lift stations. So that project is going forward. Another project that we're going to be going out to visit a pilot project that's going to involve the manganese treatment plant, the new manganese treatment plant project at the well field. So we're going to look at that project next week. And the technology park update, we're going out to bid on that park on the bridge construction on next Tuesday. There'll be a 30-day bid period. We'll be kept open for 30 days. We'll open them on October 2nd. And then we'll award to the lowest responsible bidder, and that project could get started before the end of this calendar year.
Anybody have any questions of Mr. Cutler with regards to item A and B and the unfinished business? How, with regards to the, it's another thing, seems like I've been hearing that for a while now, and we all have on the board. When is somebody gonna start doing something?
In 30 to 45 days on the bridge.
I mean, how about with
It's got a
regards?
nice sign.
What?
It's got a nice sign.
Well, God bless signs.
Well, there are things that have been done, engineering and this and that.
But, I mean, I appreciate it, but that, I mean, we've been talking about it with the other mayor, former mayor, saying, gee, it would be nice before election if, in fact, somebody dug a hole in the ground.
Time.
And it
You gotta
seemed.
put the bridge across to get it over.
No, I'm talking about just the bridge. And all these things just take a massive amount of time, I mean, it is, there's just no way to do it quick, and the water pipe relining, it seems like I've been listening to that now for.
Well, we expected that to be out this summer, and for whatever reason.
I mean,
it's being held
we're,
up.
we'll be putting snowmen out and what have you, and it's just, it's not happening. It's not happening. I mean, I'm waiting for Walnut Street to be done so that they pave it, so that, I don't have to have my car realigned constantly. Will the town pay for that?
No. Well, you put it in bid.
But, I mean, those things, really, we've been talking about that the reline, I mean, that's kind of really important to have done. I mean, some of the areas.
Well, it's been 100 years, so it's.
Well, but.
In relative terms.
Waiting another 100 years doesn't make.
It's rather quick.
Waiting another 100 years doesn't make it any better.
No, it won't be another 100
Theologically
years.
speaking, it's going on quickly.
Right.
Well, yeah, from that point of view. Okay, moving along here. Appointment of a Board of Finance to the pension, that should be a board member. Appoint a board member, Board of Finance member to the pension committee. Matter of fact, someone should tell me what the pension committee is.
Pension committee reviews all the investments that we make for our pension plan. And we get quarterly reports from the firm that we hired to monitor it for us and to manage it. And there are decisions that have to be made. In fact, there's one coming up where they have to make a decision in terms of the recommendation from the consulting firm that they'd like to switch some funds, take some of the money from one fund and switch it over to another fund based on the performance of that fund. So, and
Well, is anybody interested in doing that?
How often do they meet?
about quarterly.
Quarterly?
Yeah.
When, during the day or at night?
We try to do it at the end of the day, about 5:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30.
All right, I'll do it.
Sorry, what? I was trying to hide when I heard pension fund. You wanna do it, Bob?
Yeah, sure.
Motion to appoint Bob Garso, pension fund, as Board of Finance representative.
The second?
Second.
All those in favor? Consideration of hiring a new person for the Board of Finance.
Look, kids, yeah, Parliament.
Well, why don't we jump to C first? Consideration and approval of line item transfer. What's that?
What's that every year, usually September, October, there's,
November, December? Is there
well,
some
that happens
special
too.
time or what?
sooner the better, but, historically, it has been October. There are things that were budgeted for, and it's just an approval in some cases to go ahead and move that money. One of them, I'm not looking at my sheet, one of them is, for,
Office
the
supplies.
pension fund or something. Well, office supplies historically has always been reallocated out to the different departments since it's not expensed to them throughout the year.
But where is the list?
Oh, I've got it here. It's in your packet.
It's in the packets, last page.
Oh, okay. Oh, here it is.
So-
I see it. Thank you. I'm sorry. So it's what, three?
So, again, historically, we have not booked expenses throughout different departments for office supplies. It happens at the end of the year. We budgeted for post-retirement benefits, and again, it's just a thing to go ahead and, is it still okay to move that money into that fund, to reserve that? And then the library study has money left over from, last year they rolled over the unused portion from the year before, in case they're gonna be still looking at another site or whatever. That's left of the initial $40,000 that they were budgeted to work with. There will be more in my attempts in cleaning up and stuff. These are 3 that I came across and put
Can
them
we
forward.
vote on this?
Yeah. What would you like to do with this, folks? Questions or? I mean, do I hear any motion to agree to transfer the line items?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, back to hiring someone.
Well,
What?
excuse me, Joe,
What?
we do have line item transfers with regard to the treasurer's position.
That's what we're getting to.
That's what we're getting right now.
Yeah.
You know, moving that back into the consideration of hiring a new person. I mean, what is it that you, Tony?
I submitted a letter to the Board of Finance.
Right here.
It seems like 3 years ago, at the speed of this Board of Finance meeting. Under the guise of listening to Doug and listening to Sandy, saying she needs help, and this is the way to get the help if the Board of Finance approves it. It's a situation where the Occupund, the purchase orders, and again, it's only a $5 million budget, but all the tentacles out of there make it very difficult. Every day, it seems like Sandy uncovers another fund for the redevelopment agency. And every day, Doug comes out with another problem with the water line or the water pipes, or this project or that project, or the school, $36 million. They're on the cusp of using all the money for abatements. You know, and I know deep down they're gonna ask for more money, which I'm totally against. So that's the reason, in all the discussion here, is you got that letter. The decision is yours. Sandy can live with it one way or the other. It would help her greatly if you approve it. If you don't, we're gonna struggle again. Simple as
And
that.
I'm just gonna reiterate that we do take in all the cash for the Board of Ed, and they're $17 million.
$32,320 is what you're asking for. I'd like to preface it by saying I'm all for they need help badly. But my question is, with $32,320, what the hell do you expect to get for that?
Yeah, but it's
It
not
would be
4 years.
based on someone at $40,000 a year. I feel that,
I don't-
you know, I know we have all these budgetary issues. I'm really hoping that I can get somebody that's, in a position that maybe, you know, has a degree, they haven't been out of school too long.
Because, I mean, you've titled it as a senior accountant position. And I can tell you right now that the average kid coming out of school, and I don't care if it's QVCC or Harvard, with an accounting degree is $53,000.
But asking for 53, that wasn't.
I understand that, so that goes back to my question. You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get someone.
You never know. I actually, when I took the job at Nichols College as a senior accountant, it was pretty disgusting what my starting salary was, and then I ended up moving up. You know, sometimes just to get your foot in the door, people have all kinds of circumstances, you know. I need help. I just need help, so.
But we
But then
gotta
we
have
go
a.
back to the position that if we could get the people who are taking up the salary now who aren't doing their job properly,
You know,
that you would have more money to hire a better person or more.
and maybe that could be adjusted later, but right now, I mean, it's a dire situation. It just is.
Well, I find it a dire situation that nobody, I mean, we've been hearing this story for 3 or 4 months now, and nobody on the town's end is doing anything about making the people that are here now do what they're supposed to do, we're getting rid of them.
And here's what worries me about this, is you're gonna hire another data entry person.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not gonna be another data entry person.
It would seem, I mean,
Well, I-
just.
That's what you're gonna get for the money.
You know,
Connor,
last year.
Connor, one of the things that I know is that the person that apparently wants, who they would like to hire is far more than that. Why the person wants it.
And I understand
Why
that,
that
but-
why that person wants it for that amount of money
Is a huge red flag.
is beyond me, but she worked here before.
Oh, what?
But she worked here before.
And I don't know that she would still come back.
Fill me in?
Apparently during, well, she could fill it in better than
I
I
had
can, but
an
apparently
intern.
that person is out of Nichols
Yes.
or somewhere.
Yep.
And that she lives at the moment in Iowa or
Mhm.
somewhere around there. And that she perhaps would like to come back for whatever those reasons are and needs a job. But she worked here during the budget season doing
Well,
whatever it is.
I had her for about 3 weeks. And
So,
in
I
one
don't-
afternoon, I taught her how to do bank reconciliations.
So-
And she did 8 of them that,
Does she have an accounting degree?
she's got a degree.
So,
This goes back to what I asked, if we've got
Does she have
someone in
an accounting
mind, that'll do it.
Well, she's been working at Target now.
Yeah, but does
because-
she have an accounting
Yes.
degree? She does.
BSBA.
So, I don't know, good idea, bad idea, never met her, she was sitting out here once when I was looking at the third budget. I
Here's what
had
I
a
asked.
conversation with her.
If we got someone
Well,
already in
she's got
mind,
somebody,
that
I don't know if
I would
Doug's
like to hire her,
qualified
but
into the
she's
whole thing or
qualified.
not.
We have to post it.
Yeah, gotta do that, yeah.
We have to have an open posting for it.
And
And we have to
because-
offer it internally too.
And because she did move back home, that doesn't even mean that she'll move back out here. She was looking for a job while
I
she
don't
was
know,
here.
anyway, but that's to fill in some of that.
I agree on a lot what's happening. I agree we need somebody. But we gotta do it the legal way.
yes.
Technically speaking, we shouldn't be transferring funds from 13, 14, 15. Once this fiscal year ends, that's when that starts. The only exception is when you have, say you bought a Honda or something and you're waiting for the bill and you paid in September, only then can you close. So I'm not adverse to giving money, but maybe you can find money someplace else in the budget to do that. But you're not supposed to be transferring funds after the fiscal year ends. Can't do that.
What about the library fund?
I'm just saying, you're not, two wrongs don't make a
I-
right. Two
But
wrongs don't make a right.
see, but I don't understand with that, and I don't wanna belabor it, you know.
All I,
With the whole thing, but the reality, I mean, as I understand this, either we're gonna do something or not.
I'm agreeing with what
No,
you're
no,
doing.
no, but I'm going further than that. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I would think the accountant would know that you can't transfer on a closed book.
Well,
Well, they're not,
well,
If we
yes,
did that-
the
if we
accountant
did that
has
with
a
the Board of
question,
Ed,
is
we'd
how,
be shocked.
where is the
Yeah.
money at the end of
Right.
the year, isn't it?
No,
Goes
once a
in the
year,
general fund.
What?
So
It
it's
goes-
sitting in the that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying,
It
it's
would
not
go
in
in the
that
general
fund
fund.
you
anymore.
go into the general fund, then you can get it from the general
Yeah.
fund if you want.
But you got to go through the procedure to get it from
Right.
the general fund, which
That's
is
correct.
usually a town meeting.
See,
It
even
would go
even
to
with the
the
end
Board
of,
of Finance, the Board of Selectmen,
Yeah.
and then to a
Town
town
meeting.
meeting.
Even
And
as
that's
I-
how you could get it. And
Even-
you could get more maybe, because I don't think there's 32, he's right.
That's right.
You're saying all the benefits and everything for 32,
That's 40 weeks.
it still ain't
It's still
gonna do
40
it.
grand a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but, and
40
we
grand a
took
year.
out 64,000 out of your, when we cut that staff accounting position in April, it was a $64,000 position.
Which is more about
If,
where you gotta be.
if in fact, either we do something this evening with regards to it, and we have a hole, and Peter's right, with regards to monies and what have you, or we wait another month and, come back with a more fleshed out, how we're getting the money, where's it coming from? And, and if in fact it goes from us to the board, to the selectmen, to a town meeting, to that, I mean, we're gonna be eating turkey.
it will be Happy New Year.
No, not really. Because
Well-
the town meeting will be one of these kind of town meetings.
At the
Well,
board of
yeah,
finance.
everything works good till you get there.
Right.
Where are you gonna put her? Where would you put this person?
We've discussed, actually Shannon's gonna go downstairs to work more closely with Donna for the WPCA with Kuzi and, the AccuFund.
Does Jerry know about that?
Yeah, I guess he's got it in the works already. It's gonna
Okay.
happen anyway, so,
Okay.
and then thought was
That
to
you can
bring,
go in there, I hear you.
yeah, and to bring Caroline over here because she's got a lot of confidential information. She'd be in an office behind a closed door. And the other thought was
Would
to
you
move.
three in there?
No, the other thought would be to move Eileen over to where Caroline is now because she could be backup for the phones in case Denise is on vacation. And Eileen would be the
I don't know.
purchasing agent.
Who's
And
on
so, the other new person would be right here with Caroline, which would be all the people that I work most closely with.
So, what do you think, Bob? How we do this?
I don't see how you can do that.
I would say you can do that, I would table this to a September meeting. I make a motion, we table the, item, B till, our September meeting.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other business before the board? Thank you for cutting Pitkin Road,
Oh,
but certainly could stand something by that sidewalk though, huh?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
You guys can talk.